So it was three things that came to mind after I finished rewatching David Fincher's The Game. And it reminded me of three things that were from three different mediums. So you've got a book, a film, and then a quote by Alan Watts. If you don't remember, David Fincher's The Game is from 1997, stars Michael Douglas. It's about a guy with a lot of money who needs to spice up his life. So a family member buys him this thing called The Game. And he gets into it, he doesn't know if it's real or not. It's supposed to make you appreciate the life you're already living. So that's basically it. And the first thing that came to mind, of course, is that it reminded me a lot of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, because you've got the ghost of Christmas past. He thinks a lot about his dad, who was like him, but ended up jumping off a building, and he can't get it out of his head, understandably. The ghost of Christmas present, which is him stuck in this mundane routine. He's not a terrible character by any stretch of the imagination. He's just someone who's kind of stuck. And so his brother sees this and gets him this game. And then when he's in the game, the ghost of Christmas future is he thinks he's lost all his money. He thinks people are trying to kill him. And I mean, he is getting clear-cut signs that that's happened. It's just part of the game. But that's the Christmas future where he thinks he's never going to be able to escape this nightmare. And it's interesting to think about the fact that clearly no middle-class, blue-collar person could ever have this sort of experience because it costs a fortune, because you got to have actors and explosives and directors or whatever. Only people with $600 million in the bank can have this type of experience. There are other people in the movie who have had the experience, but this is like the Illuminati, Bilderberg Club, or whoever, the people who control everything, Davos, whatever it is. So it's just a small percentage. And if this is an exclusive thing, not everyone can do it, it reminds me of the film Titanic, which is, to me, I've always taken Titanic to be about this rich woman who's having a similar experience where she's day to day, things are boring, blah, blah, blah. She hooks up with this poor guy who kind of gives her life again. She doesn't have any plans of marrying him. That's why she lets him go into the ocean so she can return to her life. That's what I think it's about. And that's what this movie also reminds me of, is this idea that, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't love to be in their position, but this idea that the super wealthy have the ability to have experiences, not just that the rest of us can't have, but experiences that could keep us leveling up. It's the idea that money, or experience in this case, creates other experiences and other pots of gold, so to speak. So there's something at work here, and this movie just also reminded me of Kate Winslet's character in Titanic. And because this movie is all about, I think, appreciating what you have, it reminded me of an Alan Watts quote that speaks really smartly about this idea of gratitude and where you're at. No matter if you have $600 million in the bank or $60 in the bank, it applies. So let me read this for you. I'll put up some photos. Listen to this. Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream that you wanted to dream, and that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would, naturally, as you begin on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great, but now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control, where something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you're actually living today. That's one of my favorite quotes of all time, because it really puts it into perspective of this idea of the grass being greener, not being true, and whatever you might achieve or attain or buy or feel or experience, those are external things that aren't guaranteed to bring you fulfillment or joy. maybe temporarily, but like in the dream, you experience all those things, then you realize when you come full circle, it's the surprise of things day to day that make life exciting. It's the not knowing, it's the unknown is what makes things possible. That makes, even if your goal isn't achievement or attainment, it's just having happiness or fulfillment, that unknown creates those achievements, even if they don't mean as much or they're not going to bring you some sort of secret happiness or anything like that. It's like the key to everything, I think. You know, like David Boyson said once, you want to go far enough out into the water where you still think you can get back, but you've never been this far out. And it puts you into these interesting situations. And before you know it, you take these things with you. So the idea of being able to stretch your mind, I think if Voltaire's book, God, I hope I'm not getting that wrong, but he travels around the world, somebody can tell me, and then at the end of the journey he realizes that tending to his garden in his backyard is really the most important thing, and that he could have had all of these feelings and adventures and experiences with the life that he already had. So that's it. I have to say that this movie holds up really well. At first I thought, I don't know, I'm having a tough time getting pulled in, but Michael Douglas is just so good. So is David Fincher, and they just pull you right in. And I have to say, it's so refreshing to have San Francisco as a setting. You know, it doesn't happen as much as I think it should. It's just nice to have some place set that isn't New York or LA. I love LA, but San Francisco is like its own beast. It's the best Chinatown. It's that way the city smells and looks and feels. It's just a beautiful city, and it was nice to have it set there. And I didn't remember the movie very well, because there's a moment at the end when he shoots Sean Penn, his brother, and then he jumps off the building, and as he's falling, I'm thinking, I don't remember this movie at all. But of course, you know, it's part of the game, and it just really got me as a movie that I've already seen. Granted, it had been quite some time since I've seen it, but to pull me in and make me think that I was misremembering is got to be the sign of a great movie, right? Two of the things that I loved, well, one of them was the score. I thought there was a string sound that followed him around most of the movie, but there was like, when things got weird and he wasn't sure what was happening with the game, there was like this beautiful descending piano score, simple, but it was beautiful, and it was just kind of falling, you know, like something falling off a cliff, just bouncing and hitting random things. It was really a beautiful score. And I really love, I'll say two more things, because one of them is Deborah Kara Unger. Oh my God. I don't know what happened to her. Well, why didn't she, maybe she did stuff and I just don't know about it. Maybe there's movies out there that I gotta explore. Has anybody seen any other movies with her? Oh my God, smoking. But I love at the end when he follows her, right? He's got a crush on her the whole time. Maybe she does too, I don't know, but she's part of the game. She's about to go to the airport to do another game for some other rich guy, and he talks to her for a minute, asks her out basically, and she says, well, if you want to come have coffee with me at the airport, that'd be great. And he kind of smiles and looks back at the party with all the Bilderberg billionaires and whoever else, the Epstein Island over there, and he looks at her and smiles, and it kind of ends the way Castaway ends, which is he's at a crossroads here. He's already been through it, but it's a little tinier crossroads where he's looking at a woman, he's looking at a possibility, and he's looking back at his old ways. And it's not known, I don't remember it being known, but he looks like he's like, I'm all in, movement, right? It's the Einstein quote of, life is like riding a bike. You have to keep moving to keep your balance. And it looks like in that moment, he experiences those feelings and he acts on it. Movement, that's what it's all about. So I loved it. I thought it was great. Let me know what you think. The Game by David Fincher, starring Michael Douglas. Double thumbs up for me. I don't know about you, but I think I could watch it again. And don't forget to sign up for Movie Raffle Club. It's on Patreon. You join my Patreon, small thing. You support the channel, but in return for supporting the channel, you get a physical, possibly a physical collection of movies. I will handpick DVDs every month, stockpile them in my little compound here, and then I'll pick a winner from the Patreon supporters, and I'll send you DVDs of great movies, or movies maybe you don't like them, but I'll put a few in there just so I might have a chance to tickle your fancy there, if you will. All right, Movie Raffle Club, the game. Let me know what you think.